Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogi Monster here, and welcome to Why the Fascination, or WTF as I like to call it. Hope everybody's having a good night, had a good day. Yeah, decided felt I wanted to be outside today, so I am on the deck over that way. I don't know if you can see it, probably not. The camera doesn't pick it up. Is Sedona. First off, I want to start off. I just want to say prayers, and my heart goes out to everybody in Texas. I'm not going to get into it. I don't, but that's tragic. And to all the friends and family, just all we can do is pray. So God bless you guys. My heart goes out to you. Wanted to get that out of the way. Also in Texas, you guys have a lot of tornadoes going on right now. So all across the nation, there's some crazy weather today. So be careful out there. My eyes, what's up? Cindy Finn, hello. JCL Ohio, what's up, man? Mr. Lee, hey, Barb Santee. Hey, Stevie. Blackbeard, what's up, man? Angel Nolan, how are you? Brian and Chewy go hiking. Yeah, come out here and go hiking, dude. I'm going to turn this around. Maybe you guys can see these mountains. That mountain right there, that peak is probably, I don't know, 7,000 feet above sea level. And then way in the background, like I said, is Sedona. It's pretty cool. I just wish I could. It's weird. I'm in the shade. So the camera's just not going to pick it up that far. But anyway, yeah, I was going to say, Brian Chewy, come out here hiking. Sedona's gorgeous. And even these mountains right here, there's some awesome hiking out there. Just bring a lot of water and leave the GoPro running. Yeah. Oh, shit. Anita, how are you? Flyby Stew, what's up? Sandra? Ida Bustamante, how are you? So yeah, my camera is way up here, so I'm looking down. I just wanted to get over this railing a little bit. The lighting is probably going to change within the next 40 minutes. So if we have to go outside, I don't. Doesn't matter. I have to unplug one thing and walk with it. That's what I love about the laptop and just the way the setup. It's so portable. Excuse me, that was probably loud. Who am I missing? Charlie, what's up, man? Hey, I see you. You released that, dude. That's awesome. I haven't honestly. I haven't listened yet. I want to check it out. If you guys haven't, Charlie just released his. That's Howling Underdog Films. He just did a documentary on a North Carolina legend. I believe it's North Carolina. Called Judiculla. That's how we pronounce it. It's not how they pronounce it. But it's a Cherokee legend. Yeah, go check it out. That's the one that I was going to do the narration on, but I with so much going on, I just, that kind of went to the back burner, and it wasn't fair to him. So he had asked if it was okay that he said somebody else. He said, absolutely, it's your project, and I don't want to hold you up. And we'll do something in the future, absolutely. But yeah, check out that The Legend of Judiculla on Howling Underdog Films on YouTube. Yeah, I felt bad. I just got caught up in my own shit and forgot about his. Not forgot about it, just, it just didn't seem as important to at the time. But yeah, man, it's important. And I'm glad you released it, and the best of luck with it, man. You want to come on and talk about it, whatever you guys know. If you've never been here before, hey, Wagon, long time no see. Uncle Bones, Gary Spike Sr., what's going on? Hey, Suzanne. If you've never been here before and you want to come on the show, all you got to do is click on the link in the chat. I'll be putting that there in a moment, and follow the directions. And just when you do come on, when you get backstage, just turn off YouTube so we don't have that echo. It's not fun. If you don't want to be on camera, you can go to the bottom of the screen or somewhere. If you're on your phone, it'll say stop camera, and you don't have to be on camera. Yeah. What else? Oh, yeah. This is pretty cool. I got to say thank you to my friend Breeze. I don't know if you're in there tonight. I haven't seen you yet, but Breeze sent me this awesome. I don't know if you can see how green it is, but it says believe. And, it's got a Bigfoot. It's very cool. It's, hot or cold, so it's awesome. I mean, thank you. That was so cool of you. Right now, there's coffee in it. Gene Hudson, how are you? Who else? Hiveless B, what's up, mate? Should I say cheers? That's weird. My phone doesn't usually ding like that. That's weird. Sugar Britches, welcome. Jeez, we got 50 watching already. Pine Island Research, what's up, Jeff? Hey, Jeff. Kudos, brother. That was a good show. That was an awesome show you did with Jen last night. Guys, if you missed it, go back and watch it. Pine Island Research with Jeff had on Jen Cruz from the She Squatchers. I enjoyed the shit out of listening to her, It just made me think and makes me want to get into Reiki. Or Reiki, however you want to call it. Somebody will correct me, I'm sure. My sister does it actually back in Jersey. But I never gave it much thought. Probably because I don't understand it. I mean, I don't know how it works. And she said she opened up when she started that, and I've been trying to figure this shit out for years. I don't know what's going on with me as far as what I can do, because I don't understand a lot of shit that goes on with me. And I like to be able to figure it out and harness it or just understand it, So yeah, I'd love to hear more from Jen. That was a cool show. Great job, Jeff. You did a really good job hosting it. So thank you. Rosemary Andrews, how are you? Huh. Charlie's got a shitty signal. NAC, is that? I believe I just saw that. Hey, Breeze. I don't know if you just caught that, but I salute, man. Thank you. That was very cool. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Cheese freak, what's happening? Hey, Papa. Wait, I'm here. Bus isn't leaving yet. You still got 30 minutes. Who else? All right, guys. Here, let me do this real quick. So I am going to post the link in chat, and let me get these off. Anybody wants to pop on, feel free. Go. All right, the link is in chat. Kim, what's up? Yeah, no, I decided to do it. It was just too nice out. It's weird locking myself in a closet when the sun's out. Well, I guess it would be weird locking myself in a closet when it's dark too, but anyway, enough about me in a closet. Ben, what's up, brother?
Hey, bro. So I hear you in the closet, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you need to come out of that, bro.
No.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, my studio is in this little like outside utility closet. I converted it into a studio,
Yeah.
But today I was just like, I want to kick it outside, and
Nothing wrong with that.
beautiful day.
Nothing wrong with that.
The lighting is weird, so the trees in the background like are actually pretty full. But anyway,
Yeah. How you been doing, man?
pretty good. I'm hanging in, all
Yeah.
things considered.
Hey, bro. Let me ask you something.
What's that?
The other day I watched an old bear done a Bigfoot video. Have you watched
Okay,
that?
which one?
I think it might be the last one he made. He was pretty pissed off at a bunch of people in his community.
Oh, I saw. Yeah, that one. But he did. The one he did recently was actually telling a story.
Yeah. It was the
Yeah,
one before that.
yeah. I don't know what's up with him.
I mean, he's cool, bro. It's just like
Hey, it's
he's
going to
mad
echo.
at.
NAC, what's up, man?
Hey, what's
Hey,
up,
how's it
dude?
going?
How you doing, man?
Oh, man. Moggs.
I don't know what's up with him. I see he's got this new guy hanging out with him, or whoever the guy is. He's friends, whatever. But it just seems all of a sudden with this guy behind him, Ralph's angry. I mean, Old Bear is angry at everybody or something. Like, but
Man, I
he's like,
like Old Bear, and
I
like you
like Ralph.
said, bro,
Ralph is cool, but
he tells wonderful stories, bro. He does wonderful stories.
I got an
you
echo. I
know,
don't know why.
you do. Well, I don't have. Oh shit! I don't even know if I have my headphones with me.
I NSA Shannon.
So yeah, I don't know what he's so angry about. To attack Joe like that was kind of uncalled for. I don't know that Joe did anything to instigate it. I can't see Joe doing that.
Joe of
Squawking
the
Cowboy.
Squatching Cowboy, yeah, man. I mean, I'm sure Joe didn't do
Hey,
shit.
Mog.
I mean, I don't know though.
No, I was there. I was with him.
Oh, okay.
I camped right next to him. We hung out. We hiked. And Joe was getting over COVID. Yeah, he had a beer here and there, whatever.
Yeah,
But it wasn't like anybody there was anybody. If anybody drank, it wasn't obvious. Like nobody was fall down drunk.
yeah.
Um, it was everybody behaved.
And even if they were, what business is it of somebody else?
Miles, can
They
you
might
hear
not.
me?
Uh,
What's that?
Let me see if I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I got 2 pictures of me on my screen,
Hey,
and I'm
Two?
getting echo.
You
you get
got
an
you,
Yeah,
echo.
you might have logged in twice. That's weird.
yeah, I can
Hey,
see me up there with you too, but
hey,
I got a
MC,
picture of me
you
down there.
got your YouTube on, bro?
Do what?
Is
Is
your
YouTube
YouTube
on?
on in the background?
Mine's echoing.
Is your YouTube on, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to
You have
turn
to
that
turn
on.
YouTube off. You can only have StreamYard on. Because if your microphone
I'll
picks
have
up
to turn it off
the
how
echo,
StreamYard too.
Yeah, bro, you got to turn YouTube off, man. That's all you got to do.
I don't know how to do that.
you still got an
What you
echo
mean?
now? Are you on your phone?
Yeah.
Click the red X. I mean, yeah, man. Hope he comes back, but you
Oh,
know,
I didn't even. I looked up. I didn't see him leave.
yeah. But I mean, it's nothing but reverberation whenever somebody's on YouTube.
Yeah, that's annoying. No, what's bad is if I actually accidentally click on I'll reload another page by accident, pushing the wrong button, and
Yeah.
you pull yourself up twice. That's an insane echo. That's like I'm like
Really? Like
yeah, like
twice? Is that
yeah,
possible?
yeah. I've done it
Wow.
by accident a
Wow.
few times.
Yeah. How's Arizona, buddy?
It's here. It's hot. It's
I
dry.
wish I wish I was there, bro. Not gonna lie.
We need some rain. You know,
Yeah.
it's yeah. You look at our forecast, and it's like you'll see percentage rain.
Mhm.
Precip percentage 0 all the way across the board. We need some rain. But yeah, I mean it's pretty state. It's but I'm not married to it. You know.
All right. Where would you like to live?
I'm probably gonna go back. Head back
To
east.
Florida, you're about to
Uh,
say.
Possibly, yeah, more than likely. um, it's a good. It's a good starting point for because there's so much that goes on in the southeast. There's so much shit that you can all the different states, all the Gulf Coast states, Alabama, Louisiana, even up to Oklahoma. It's accessible. It just I want to be
Accessible
able
in
to.
which way?
Well,
What you mean by accessible?
all these different national forests and state
Yeah.
parks, and
Yeah.
I want to get out there and hang out with people and
Yeah.
explore more.
Yeah, man.
Um, and it's out here. I don't know. It's a little different.
It's different from Louisiana, bro. It's daytime over there.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just the area and it's so vast. It's so big. You
Hmm.
know. Um, I mean, shit. Here, I'll show you the valley. This is the
Dang,
Verde. This is the
dude.
Verde Valley, all the way down there. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably shit. I'm not sure. It's Camp Verde is that way. This is the Verde Valley. Sedona is that way. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
like Sedona is like 10 miles, 11 miles away.
Yeah.
Um,
So, hey,
it's
bro,
cool.
I gotta ask you something. So, you worked in Sedona for a while, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever had any kind of experience or anything?
Not in Sedona.
No.
Nope.
There's supposedly a
Well,
portal.
okay. Nothing UFO related, Bigfoot related, paranormal related. It was psychic related. Something happened. A lot when when I was there. You know, I walked into the garage one day and there's a wrecked vehicle there, and I walk up to it, and in my head I hear they did a good job on that one. The mechanic comes over from the left as soon as
Where'd
that
that
thought
come from?
in my head and says they did a good job on that one.
Wow.
I'm like,
Wow.
and I just walked away. I didn't even react to it because
Yeah.
that's how shit happens with me.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So why wouldn't you? Because you just used to it happening like that?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I figured out what it is. I guess I'm a receiver. If somebody's got a really good thought or a strong thought or whatever, somehow I'm picking it up.
damn, dude. Damn. Anything
Can't
else?
control it.
Sedona?
That happened in Sedona, and I was a lot of stuff happened like that when I was at that job, as far as with certain people I was friends with.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, just that's
But nothing supernatural that you would call
no, no,
supernatural, right?
no. My dad saw a UFO in Sedona twice in 1 week. Um,
What it look like?
I don't know if he said it was square or rectangular or a triangle, but he said it was like the size of a football field, and it blocked out the stars as it went over his house.
Damn, bro. You know about the Phoenix Lights, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
I
have
mean, a
I have
lot of
another
people
friend
have seen it.
who saw her whole family saw a UFO in another part of Sedona, and it's called Village of Oak Creek.
Okay.
They were sitting down to have dinner, and the mother's looking out the window. She's facing the window, and outside is this, like, maybe a couple hundred yards away is this mesa,
Hmm.
and she's looking at it, and up to one side of the mesa she thought we're hikers at first, but then she's like, what the, because it's whatever it was started to come above the trees, and the daughter's like, looks at her, she's like, Mom, what are you looking at? And she looks out and she's like, oh shit. The father didn't see it. The boyfriend, his vision was really messed up. They all went outside and they watched
Yeah.
this thing. It was like a cylindrical thing, came up the side of the mesa, got up to the top of the mesa, stood straight up, spun around, and it had an opalescent, but it was more cigar shaped. It wasn't, it wasn't. And as it
So it looked
spun,
opalescent.
yeah, like mother of pearl, that
Yeah,
it
yeah. I
had
know
that.
what you're talking about for sure.
Yeah, as it spun, because it was during the daytime, and
Yeah.
they went outside
Yeah.
and they watched it go north and until they couldn't see it anymore, and then they went back to dinner, but it came back.
Mm. Wow.
About 20 minutes later, it came back and then went east.
Hey
But
man,
yeah,
I wanna know. I'm sure you believe in Bigfoot, right?
I have a good idea.
Are you like what percentage do you believe? Like 90, 80?
That's a good question, man. I'm not. I never thought
I
about
know
it that
you.
way.
I know you. I know you haven't seen one.
No, but
Have you
a lot of
heard one?
people, a lot of people have,
Oh
or
yeah,
claim to have.
yeah.
And my theory, and I've said this since I started the show, is, you know, not everybody's lying. I've
No,
heard
no,
too many stories, too
man.
many. It's in the thousands now that I've
I'm in
listened to.
complete agreement with you, bro.
So if one person's telling the truth, it exists.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're right. You're right.
that's the way I have to look at it. My proof will be if I get to see one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't need to prove it to anybody. I just want to know for myself.
Okay. So, yeah. So how do you stand on the supernatural aspects versus the, you know, monkey?
Well, I think that it's I want to believe it's a flesh and blood creature.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, it's so fast, and I just think the size of it, it's pure muscle. So it's not a bodybuilder where it's lumbering, where this is this got that way by
Yeah. But
surviving in nature, living in nature, and um
if you look at most animals, bro, they are pure muscle.
yeah,
You
and
know
they're
what I
fast
mean?
as fuck.
Yeah. A horse,
Look
a
at a
dog.
cheetah. Look at
Yeah.
look how fast a grizzly can run.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Sorry, I live on this. People come down the hill and they rubberneck, and I just don't. I'm like, what are these people looking at?
Hey, bro, what you think about dog man?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, me either, bro.
I
I don't know.
don't know. But when you look, let's go back to Bigfoot. I think that
All right.
the supernatural aspect of it,
Mm-hmm.
I was getting into the whole the speed. It's the mass to the muscle, and just it's their natural ability to be fast.
Yeah.
Um, the whole cloaking thing, or I'm not sure. You know,
Yeah.
um, if their hair is truly like,
Achromatic, right?
yeah, and hollow, and that
Yeah,
it can
achromatic without
pick up,
having any colors, but it can refract colors and shit like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Who knows? Um, having experienced psychic things myself, and
Mm-hmm.
and, and experimented a little bit with it, but with very good results. Um, be it telepathy, and that's the only way I can call it. That my experiment, the way it went, um, I don't see why they wouldn't, possibly have that ability.
Yeah. Would you
Uh,
call it telepathy?
yeah,
What
absolutely.
happened? Yeah. Have you ever
Yeah,
tried remote viewing?
I wouldn't know how to start.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
mean,
something that you have to be instructed in.
yeah,
Not on like
that's true.
watching Jeff's show last night. Jenny even said, it's not something, you don't do it online. They
Yeah.
offer it online. Don't bother.
Nah, yeah, you're right.
You need to be taught. You know,
Yeah. I didn't see Jeff's show, but and yeah, I mean, if you are that sensitive,
you
to
don't know what it is, dude. You know what? I've had paranormal experiences with witnesses.
Mhm.
So I know that exists. So why wouldn't I believe in a flesh and blood creature?
You're
You
absolutely
know,
right. Yeah, but do you believe in all of the woo?
not all of it.
Yeah.
I can't be that gullible. No, no. I just think that it's
But
they're
like you said just now, bro, if one person saw it,
oh,
it
it
might be
exists.
real.
Yeah, you know,
They're telling the truth. If one person saw it. You know what I
that's all it
think?
takes.
What my
That's all it
theory
takes.
is?
What?
You believe in whenever you look up at the sky and at night, see all the stars and shit. You ever think that alien life is a possibility?
Absolutely. We
So
we'd
what is?
be we would be arrogant as
Yeah, you're right.
a species to think that we're alone, because I mean, you realize how many planets they're discovering, and in distant places, that there's got to be something else out there. I hope
Yeah,
so, 'cause that would suck for the
But
universe
dude,
if we were
think
it.
about, yeah, think about the biodiversity on Earth. We have insects, we have
Oh yeah,
fish.
it's amazing.
So all these different forms of life
We're just
on
one
Earth.
giant organism.
Exactly. Dude, all these different forms of life, and there's nothing out there. Come on, bro. Give
No,
me a break. I
no,
mean,
the conditions I'm sure exist. It exists somewhere else that can produce life in whatever form. Um,
if it could produce one type of form, it can probably produce more.
produce another. Cryptids
Yeah.
Canada, what's up, Leslie? Good to see you,
I
Dog
think
man.
that,
I don't know, dude. People swear by it. You
man,
know,
I think that Bigfoot for sure is some kind of alien being. That's why there's no evidence. And you could tell me I sound like a
no,
stupid
no, no,
ass,
no, no, no. Go ahead. There's so many
but I mean,
different theories out there, man. You can't say no
yeah,
to any of them.
yeah. That
Nobody
dog
knows.
man might be it too. I don't know. You know, I've
Well,
never seen a Bigfoot or dog man.
but the
So
whole
I don't know.
dogman theory for me goes back. I mean, if you look at history, it goes back to the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians.
It does
Um,
Anubis, bro.
the dog-headed.
Yeah.
The Catholics have a dog-headed saint, Saint Christopher.
They just Saint Christopher. Absolutely, absolutely.
Um,
Yeah,
so there's a lot of that in history, So
you're right.
are they running around in the woods? I don't know.
I don't know either.
But history dictates a little bit that they did exist in a in a
It
in a
does.
in a public way. I mean, they were like a saint or a god.
Yeah.
Anubis. Um, it was the head of a jackal, but still, it's I don't know. I don't even know if a jackal's a canine.
No, jackal
Anybody
is
know?
definitely a canine. Hyena is not.
Hyena's not. Yeah.
No, but a jackal is.
Patrick Vaughn, how are you? Did I even? Yeah. Here, let me keep putting this. I get to yapping and I forget to put the damn link in chat.
Hey, dude, you keep up with the Skinwalker Ranch thing?
No,
Man, it's interesting.
I'd rather watch like Blind Frog Ranch, which is just up the road from Skinwalker.
Blind Frog Ranch. I've never
Yeah,
heard of it.
yeah. It's there's supposedly hidden treasure on it that possibly Montezuma or the Aztecs came up and buried on the
Man,
property, and they have these caverns on the property that are flooded. But
man.
they've dove the caverns and sent cameras down there, and they found these structures in the cavern.
Mhm, mhm.
So it's pretty interesting. I like watching shit like that.
You
Oak
know what?
Island is just getting so fucking drawn out.
Yeah. You know what? I think that the Skinwalker Ranch thing is interesting because of the hitchhiker effect. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Yeah. So whoever goes there will take shit home to them. And it's like poltergeist activity. It's like shadow people. It's like fucking horrific shit that you don't want to fucking deal with. And I mean, and it's not just the people, bro. I just read the book about it. Dude, it's like their family and shit. That's really unexplainable.
You should be able to, if you know what you're doing, or someone's with you, is prevent, take measures, armor up, say a prayer, smudge, cleanse, and you should be able to avoid that,
But what kind of phenomenon could this be? I mean, is it demons?
I don't know.
What can follow you like that, man?
Ghosts.
Exactly. Ghosts are, I guess, demons, right?
Yeah, I'm not into demonology too much. I don't actually
No,
at
I'm
all.
not into it. I'm not into it at all either, bro. I'm not. But I'm just, I'm just asking you what, with your experience in this field and stuff, and I just wanted to see what you thought about it. That's all.
Yeah, no, it's well, right behind me. Probably 10 miles from here. 10 between here and Sedona, there's a lot of Forest Service roads and just a shit ton of open land, and back there is Bradshaw Ranch.
Okay.
That's sort of like our version of Skinwalker Ranch. It's I don't know that too much goes on back there anymore, but there were reports of portals and aliens and Bigfoot, uh, something else. But if there's a book out that I think her name is Linda Bradshaw.
The Bradshaw. I think I've heard of that.
She wrote a book with this other guy. I'm not even going to go there. I don't remember his name, but it's about Bradshaw Ranch and shit that went on out there. They had built, I guess, back in the 50s when they bought the property. The father or the grandfather built this basically a movie set, an old western town, and I believe Elvis Presley filmed a movie out there. And some other movies were filmed out there, but as time goes by, things go to pot, and
Yeah,
it's not
man.
used anymore, and so that got
Yeah.
torn down or fell down or rotted out, whatever. But then all this shit happened, and then supposedly the government bought the property.
Oh,
So
really?
you go out there now, and I believe it's fenced in.
Oh.
But
So
yeah,
what supposedly happened there?
just these different events, like portals opening up, where like the father took a picture of this portal, and you can see the portal was kind of in the sky,
Yeah,
and but it was facing the sky. They were looking up at it, but it was
no
where they took
shit.
a picture. You could see on the other side was someplace else.
Wow.
But it was like obvious. Say they took it at night, and on the other side it was daylight or something. It was obvious that it was something else on the other side.
Yeah.
Um, I think Linda had. I want to say she would put food out for supposedly a Bigfoot.
Mhm.
And this area out here has, reports of Bigfoot, here in this town, up Sycamore Canyon, the sheep herders, I mean, the cattle herders wouldn't bring their cattle up that canyon, even though it was easier to go to Flagstaff, but because of whatever, like supposedly something was up there.
Yeah.
Um, I used to go through that canyon every day. I worked on the train. It was a tourist train, and occasionally you'll hear like I was probably 10 cars back from the engine. The engineer would come around the corner, come out of the tunnel, and see, say, a bear
Hmm.
or an elk or something. He'd call back to us. We all had radios,
Hmm.
so then we all like looked. You'd see an elk occasionally, but I'm wondering if at any point were they not seeing a bear? Did they just assume it was a bear? Possibilities.
Yeah.
um, yeah, there's a lot of stories out here.
What was that? Sasquatch?
But Bradshaw Ranch is you'd have to read the book. I don't know all the stories. I know two of the Bradshaws, the grandsons. I worked with them in Sedona, and they would tell me stories. I don't remember them right now.
Hey, let me ask you something else. Uh, what kind of paranormal lore or supernatural lore you think is completely bullshit?
See, in my head right now, something is screaming Mothman, and I don't know why.
Ooh,
That's the
okay.
first thing that popped into my head. Don't know why. Maybe it was just I was trying to think of another cryptid.
Yeah.
Don't know why that popped into my head.
All right.
That's not necessarily my opinion. I'm just telling you what popped into my head.
Okay. Cool. Cool,
No, I
man.
mean, there's a lot of
Exactly.
Mothman's got a lot of stories about it too. So, and it's not
Mm,
just in Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
yeah.
It's Chicago, and they have their own
Yeah.
Mothman up there
I've
apparently.
heard of that.
I don't know. There's a lot of supposedly the rake was a creepy pasta.
Yeah.
Um,
So you don't believe in that, right?
Skinwalkers, I believe in. Shouldn't talk about it. I'm in fucking their territory.
Yeah, you're right. You don't believe in a rake though, huh?
No.
What about the chupacabra?
Uh I've seen a lot of pictures of you know
Mangy, misshapen dogs?
yeah
Yeah, yeah, me too.
I've seen those pictures where they have these dogs down there and you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
But it also that story also exists in Puerto Rico.
yeah,
Supposedly there's chupacabras there.
absolutely.
So I don't know. I don't think there's this cryptid creature out there that's you know killing chickens and shit. Hell, a bat will sneak up behind a chicken and bite it on its heel and just lick it, and fucking chicken would never know it was there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a vampire bat, they
What
feed
you
on
think about?
livestock, but they do it in a way that they're slick about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. What you think about vampires? I could tell you right now, I don't believe in that. I mean, they could be real, but I just don't really. I don't
Yeah,
see it.
I don't know. I don't know what the stories like the historical, you know.
But it's very historical, man. I mean, yeah, it
Vlad
is.
Taylor wasn't a vampire. He just was a fucking sadistic motherfucker. Excuse me.
Vlad, yeah, Vlad Tepes.
Um,
Yeah,
Vlad Tepish, exactly. Um, yeah, he was brutal.
yeah. He impaled some fucking. Yeah, he did. He sure did. Yeah, I mean, they make for good movies for sure.
Sure, but as
Except for the
far
ones
as
that the
I think,
sci-fi
well,
channel
you
makes.
know what? I do believe there are psychic vampires.
Oh, I do too,
There
dude.
are
I do
people out
too.
there that can draw the energy right
Suck
out of you
your
and
energy.
just
Yeah,
yeah. And whether they don't, even if they don't know they're doing it, there are
yeah.
people out there that can do that.
I believe in that too. I definitely do. I've met people. You know, after 45 years of life, I've met people. I know you've met people. I mean, that just people that just suck the life out of you, make you just not even want to be in the
What
same
the
area.
hell is a Kangawalla fox?
Kangaroo fox. So
I
that's
guess
a
it's pretty.
kangaroo, wallaby, and a fox, right?
So does it have a big fluffy tail?
I
Like a
guess they
fox?
had the kangaroo.
Kangaroo head? No, I don't think a wallaby body can hold a kangaroo head.
Or it could be a koala
But
and a
oh, that's
fox too.
no. Wallet.
Mm.
That's interesting. Thanks for making us think. That was cool.
Everybody got to think. Come on.
Matt Niven, how are you, buddy? Hey, Bat Mom. Michael Haywood, what's up? Ben T. Hobbs. Great to see everybody.
No, I can't even see chat, bro. Tell everybody hi for
All
me.
right. I don't know how
Uh-oh.
long you guys have been sitting back there.
There we go.
Me and Jeff just been having a beer,
Yeah.
What's up, Jeff?
hanging out. Good to see you, Jeff. Ben,
Nice to
Mo,
see
very
you,
nice to see you
Hive.
all.
What's
What's
up,
up,
Hylas?
Hylas? How you doing, man?
It's been a minute since I seen you. How you been doing?
Good, bro. I actually sort of caught one of your shows the other day and saw Uncle Bones up.
Yeah.
So yeah, he actually looks really well.
You see him from about here up.
He's
About
been
right
on a
around here.
couple-
Well, yeah, he was
times,
hiding. He was hiding his the lower part of his face, but at the very start, like you sort of see his beard, and man, I think he looks better than me for his age. Like straight up, I think I look older than Bones. But anyway,
How old is
how's it
Uncle
going,
Bones?
Jeff? You're doing quite well. Your channel's doing well.
Yeah, I'm we've been getting some decent guests to pop on, and
Great
hit
job
and
last
miss.
night.
We've had a few train wrecks along the way, but
Happen, mate. You've seen enough of mine. You've seen enough of mine.
yeah.
I like your new
Not
background,
train
like the
wrecks, but growing
bar.
pains.
Oh, sorry, Max.
Go ahead, man.
No, I was just saying I like the bar background, like that graphic. Looks pretty cool.
Kind of a small town, hole in the wall, bar
It's
on
a-
the lake type feel.
Right on. It's a good vibe. Yeah, it's sort of not dissimilar to sort of the way I approach the graphics that I do. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like it. How are you, Mogs? I haven't seen you for ages, brother. Nice to see
I'm
you.
doing all right, man. Doing all right.
Yeah, I'm jealous of your garden there or wherever you are. It looks nice.
My view, yeah. I'm in Arizona.
Nice.
I didn't want to be locked in a studio today, so I figured, let's do it outside.
Nothing wrong with that, bro.
Not at all. If I had a good enough phone, I don't have a smartphone or anything, but if I did, I'd do
what?
the same. Well, a smartphone or something like, I haven't got a
Something
good device.
portable?
that's-
What kind of phone do you have?
Exactly. Well, no portable thing. I just have one of the old burner phones, mate. You know, like the
He's
old.
got-
On the run, are you?
Say it again, Jeff.
You got a bag phone from
A bag? Is that what you call it in the States? Yeah, a bag phone.
You remember those? Dude, you remember those, huh?
The bricks.
Well, we got-
I think they're
phone.
gonna
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back. You know, everything retro comes back, and
Yeah, you're right.
I think how
Right.
cool would it be to walk around with a man purse with one of them big corded handsets in it, talking on it while you walk down the street? I mean,
You're right.
Oh,
You're
dude, give it 20 years, Jeff, because I've seen
Nah,
people walking around these days that look like they're from the 90s, just unironically dress like we did in the 90s. It's weird. It's the new trend.
Nah, then you got to get shoes to match. No, I'm not going there.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, really. What's going on, Jeff?
I seen a kid the other day that looked like he stepped right out of 1987. I mean, he had the bleached out jeans that were pegged on the bottom, you know, rolled up on the bottom, with the green and white Stan Smith Adidas tennis shoes, the low tops that were just beat to shit, you know. He was wearing a, I don't know, Sex Pistols t-shirt or something. It's all tore up. I was like, dude, you look seriously like we went to high school. Like you walked out of a time capsule from when I was in high school. And he says, he says, I think that this is kind of where the fashion trends are going, is back to the
that's what they
guys
do.
wearing peg jeans on the bottom. And you know,
Exactly. Did you see the Batmom's comment to me, by the way? It's quite funny. Hiveless, what shady shit you doing that you need a burner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's maybe on the run.
Yeah, I'm a professional pimp. The Batmom, did you not know? I'm hiring if anyone's interested. Jeff?
I don't think we want to promote that.
You should hire Jeff.
I saw
My last show got pulled. I for no reason. I don't want to.
What was that
Oh,
about?
did it?
What was that about, dude?
No, I have no idea.
I think circling
Sorry,
back
Bones.
on what it could have been about is the worst thing we could do right now, because it'll probably
Yeah, I
happen
know. So
again.
I'm just saying.
My bad.
I'm behaving tonight.
All right. Best behavior. No, I just never upgraded the Batmom, so it's just an old phone I got from 8 years ago that I just used to speak to my family when I lived in Brighton in a Buddhist center, actually. Yeah, so I just needed something, and it's never stopped working. It's like those old phones, like the 3210s. Hello, darling. Those 3210s,
Yeah.
like they're indestructible. You know what I mean? So it's just lasted me 8 years. So there you go. That's
Keep
the
it
answer.
clean,
Hey,
people.
Wagon, what's going on?
Trying to keep it clean.
Keep it clean. Yeah. So get
Well, it
wagging
doesn't have
off.
to be clean. It's just, can't be
Hey, Mooks.
controversial. How are you, hon?
Good. How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to have an indestructible handheld device. I mean, if your girl gets pissed at you and throws it out the car window, you can circle back and it still works,
Hopefully.
Well, it's got a few scratches, Jeff, but it reminds me of why I'm not dating them anymore. Ha.
Indestructible. Is there such a thing as an indestructible phone?
3210 official. Yeah.
Well, I missed that.
Nokia.
There are some brands out there that make some pretty decent armor for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wagon.
Nope.
Well,
Sorry
I'll tell
about
you,
that.
the best thing that happened to phones for me was when they made an iPhone that you could throw in a bucket of water or you submerge and it still works. Because
You do that.
I don't know
for
why it took
regular
them
reason.
so long, but hell, now that you get these iPhones now, they're submersible for up to 30 feet for like 2 hours or whatever the hell.
But you know what I
Right.
don't get on that? Like, I've got one of the new laptops, like the new Mac laptops, and the camera on it's horrible. But they've obviously got the technology on the phones that they can get really good, sound and cameras now. So it just makes me think, like, the investment in phones, they want you to go mobile, don't they? That's my conclusion. Because I don't know why they wouldn't
Well,
soup
and they
up.
don't want to make anything so good that they can't. If they set the threshold of technology available in a device that you could get today to where they can't surpass it in a year, they'll never be the keep up with the Joneses. You can
that's
have
right.
the iPhone 11 now, and your buddy has the iPhone 13, and all of a
it's the
sudden you
13
find
now.
out that he can do like a 3D scan of a print or something in the ground with the new iPhone, and yours is a year old and you can't. Well, what's going to get you to go drop $1,400 for a new iPhone?
The new radar feature,
Nothing.
Jeff. The new ground radar feature.
I want the teleportation feature, please.
Yeah, that's probably
That'd be
2
perfect.
models away, wagon, but it's coming.
Yeah.
My
No
God,
doubt
that'd
about
be
it.
awesome. That'd be
I
so
always
awesome.
joked about, because it was like that with probably the industry that's really comparable to that is the recreational industry, like golfing, right? I mean, you got all these golf clubs. I mean, how much better can they freaking get, right? I mean, you go to the store, there's 50 different drivers, and you go in 6 months, they're all different colors, new models. You might have one that you bought 6 months ago and you spent $400 or $500 for one freaking club. And you go golfing and your dumbass buddy out drives you 5 yards 3 times in a row with one that he bought yesterday. And now you got to go buy that one. I mean,
you
it's
just
just
quit
people
golfing.
cannot stand not having that edge,
True.
I
suppose
was
that's what...
amazed at the size of some of the clubs these days. The heads on them are huge.
I've seen
Yeah.
some of them.
I mean,
suppose
why
that's-
can't it be like guitars?
Like, either
Hyde?
you're good at it or not. You shouldn't need a massive club.
Well said,
Play.
Jeff. And
Why can't it be like
Wagon.
guitars? Like if I show up with a 1966 Strat,
Yeah.
and
Well, they never made them
and
better,
it
did
sounds
they?
better than
Yeah.
the one you bought yesterday, brand
Right.
new. I mean,
Well, I think that except for all the electric vehicles coming out now, because obviously that's an entirely different sort of, vector for
good.
development. But for years, it was pretty shocking that the technology for cars didn't much improve. Really, it was very small improvements, essentially. But we sort of nailed it the first time around, almost.
I agree.
well, in
Like
the
buses.
last 30 years, I mean, if you look at rack and pinion steering or the components that are used for the front suspension of a vehicle. I mean, we went 3 decades and we may have changed the sizes of the placement, but nothing really changed. Nothing
No.
got
Same
better,
mechanics.
There was
Right.
no obsolete technology in how that was designed overall every 5 years. It's remained the same for decades.
Right, and on that, you've probably heard the idea that military tech is always 50 years more advanced than the sort of tech that the people are aware of.
Oh,
so
yeah.
doesn't that make you think that the real development, of course, went underground, and you just got to wonder where we really are? I mean, I know you've all probably checked out Boston Dynamics and the world of robotics and AI now, but we're only just catching a glimpse of what's possible. But
Jetpacks.
it's Jetpacks are out there now. Yeah, they're
Mhm.
sort of
I swear I
commercial.
saw
Yeah,
a video of somebody over the water doing it, but not with the water propelled one, with an actual
man.
self propelled
A real
jetpack.
jetpack.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can
man.
actually go to like hire a sort of lesson with a jetpack and sort of go through how to
Right.
use them. You strap them
So
to your
cool.
arms and stuff and steer them.
Those
It's
are
all
those are
pretty crazy.
badass.
Yeah,
So
They
man.
are
what was it?
better.
So
What was it
cool.
fueled by?
Say
What
again,
was the
Ben?
fuel?
The fuel, you know what? Great question.
Fossil
I've
fuel,
just
probably.
yeah, some
Some
sort of
type of
fossil
fossil
fuel of
fuel.
some sort. It's like not sure.
Oh,
Not
Probably
sure.
a
Although
jet,
there is some
probably a jet fuel or
contention
something.
about how plane jets really work because they claim
yeah.
that there's that the wings are filled up with jet fuel, but it doesn't seem rational that there'd be that much fuel on board a
No,
commercial flight to
I
last
wouldn't
that
think
long.
the wings.
So it seems like there's something else going on there. That's an interesting
that would
thought.
be pretty dangerous.
Well,
Well,
The
this
any
is
wings
what
would
Are you
build
talking
up.
about military planes?
No, just standard commercial planes. It's almost like the science of the jet science. We might have been missold. It is a theory that's out there that actually there's not nearly as much fuel used to get a flight, across the sort of 11-hour flight path
Yeah.
as we're
Yeah.
told. If you see what I mean, it might be some sort of like turbine technology or something like that going on. I'm not sure, but it is a
Yeah.
sort of conspiracy theory
Yeah.
that exists out there.
But I mean, there's got to be some kind of fuel source that makes the propellers work for the turbine.
Well,
Well, I
it's
wonder
all
if it.
it's
Yeah.
all air displacement. I mean, even the new
Yeah.
jetpacks is air displacement,
Right.
right? And the real technology will come when we get past the whole displacing air for forward energy
Right.
Propulsion.
To
and figure
propel.
out another way to do that. I mean,
So what do you think that might happen? Like, what do you think that maybe the next form of energy might be?
well,
Great question.
first of all, from a prop plane to a jet engine, the technology really isn't that different. I
No, it's
mean,
the same principle.
the unhoused jet engine is still a series of devices causing air displacement for
Yeah.
propulsion. So, rather than one prop, you got 20 spinning deals in a jet and maybe the way the fuel delivery works and the combustibility and all that makes it more
So
efficient, more fast.
so Jeff, I'm really asking what makes the engine work that makes the belts move, that make the props move.
The jet fuel.
Well, if you look at let's stop talking about planes just to compare cars. First of all, we used to have cars that you'd put a 455 big block in with a supercharger or a blower on it, and that'd be faster than the other car. And then all of a sudden, Tesla comes along and builds an electric car with a big battery bank that
Yeah,
can go to 100 miles an hour in like 5.5 seconds.
yeah,
It's like, whoa, wait a
yeah,
minute here.
yeah.
That was a game changer of looking at the not
Definitely.
top end speed, but the quickness of 0 to whatever
Yeah,
that G force movement. I guess the proper name would be the foot pounds of torque that
yeah,
it puts
yeah.
out from an electric engine. That is
Crazy.
completely different technology. And at some point, we're going to come up with a game-changing technology that goes from air displacement to move an aircraft forward to something different.
Well, there's
Like
well,
what, dude? Like
well,
what?
I've got an answer to that, but very quickly, Flyby Stu Mogs is speaking about the jets thing. It's quite interesting. But yeah, I think governments are actually starting to invest in vacuum delivery systems. Underground vacuum. I don't know what you call it. Travel. Like where you're in an airlocked chamber and they send things really fast through an airlocked chamber and people can travel that way as well. I think that's the way governments are thinking of going. Now, I don't know about actual... Well, that's the way they're going. That's the way they're investing. So I suppose that's sort of the answer. Obviously, beyond that, you've got drone technologies getting
Yeah,
quite far out there now. Like
But
there are actually sort of drones, man-sized drones that you can sort of pilot now, and that looks like that's the way the car tech's going, electrically powered. Something not dissimilar to sort of the drones you've seen, basically.
for anybody in chat and anybody listening who doesn't know what he's talking about as far as the vacuum systems, it's picture
Thanks.
you go up to the drive-through at your bank, And
Right.
you get that container and you pop it in there and you push the button. Well, vacuum, sends that from point A to point B.
Thank you,
It's
Mose. I didn't
negative
explain it very
pressure.
well, but
That's all it
right
is.
on.
Negative pressure.
Right on, yeah.
So, Jeff, as opposed to the internal combustion engine, what could we possibly have for a fuel source?
Well, I don't know if it's fuel source as much as it is trying to figure out a new way to manipulate propulsion
As in
in
what,
a
though, man?
gravity world that we
Oh,
live in. So
yeah.
imagine this.
I know
We
I know
can't change
exactly where
it
you're
so
going.
that there's not gravity everywhere. Gravity's there, right? But what if you could figure out a way to change it to where in a small space you could make it void of gravity?
I think the government
Just in
knows
a
how to
small
do it.
space. So let's say you're flying
No
a
doubt.
jet, okay, and you're fighting that force of gravity to keep it airborne and keep it. You need that speed and power because
Yeah,
the
you
gravity
do.
there. If you
Speed,
didn't,
power, momentum.
you could
Yeah,
take
definitely.
hundreds of that power and propel it, and it'd go and go and go. Right? What if you could get it to where, for 100-yard square area, cubed area, you could figure out how to make it void of gravity, and in the center of that, fly a plane.
That's
Well,
the, yeah.
You're
you
not
know they have
affecting
that.
gravity around the world. You're affecting the gravity in one
Yeah,
controlled area.
but
I'm not
definitely.
saying that we can do that or that's even possible, but I
Nah,
can say,
you know
if
they is.
something like that was possible, you would completely change how you propel that plane in that small little atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I've heard stories of like it goes way back, doesn't it? Like UFO sort of stories of where people have come out and supposed whistleblowers have spoke about those sorts of movements of craft,
Yeah.
that sort of technology. Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, I'm sure they've got ways of doing it. It's hard to know what we're looking at when we're seeing UFOs. How much of it's sort of projected craft and how much it's real craft. I'm sure it's a mixture, but yeah, I'm personally got a conviction that they know how to travel at exceptional speeds.
They absolutely do. They
Yeah.
do.
In all
There's
directions.
there's
too.
too much electronics in the world. We'll mess with humans' magnetic fields, and we won't be able to exist in it.
Really?
Well, we're in that world, aren't we? I mean, I'm pretty
Yeah, we
sure
are.
that by the way, have you guys noticed Tesla's scalar waves, right? The idea was faster than the speed of light information travel. The idea was that you nudge the ether rather than propagate through waves, a sort of radio signal. Well, actually, now I can message someone on Messenger and it's literally instantaneous in some cases. I'm convinced they're using Tesla's scalar waves with that stuff, I really am, like the new 5G or whatever tech they're using for the new internet.
It is quick.
It's so quick, But and then you've got metaverse, what are they up to with that sort of stuff as well. I'll keep an eye on this space, but I'm sure they've got all sorts of strange plans for our...
They're literally selling the Matrix to people.
Yeah,
Like
it is the Matrix.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
right on, man.
so I've got a show that
silly.
I'm going to be doing here. I don't know if it'll be next week, might be the week after, but it talks about, and I talked about it one night here on Mogs' show for a little bit. I didn't get too deep into it, but it's the SR-71 Blackbird when they made that plane
Mhm.
The fuel
in the
system,
late 50s into the early 60s, that 7-year design period.
Mhm.
It was the first jet that Lockheed had ever made that wasn't being contracted for a branch of the military. It was actually being contracted by the CIA to be used.
Wow. Yeah.
And what the CIA wanted the plane to be able to do above and beyond what the A-12 could do already had a lot to do with the height that it could fly at and the speed that it could fly at.
Mhm.
And these engineers kept running into roadblocks. Like these 17 engineers that worked for Lockheed at Skunk Works were the 17 smartest people on this planet when it came to designing new technology that was pertinent to travel.
Yeah.
And they were running into roadblocks on, this is the first plane that was going to be able to avoid radar. This was the first plane that was going to be able to fly at 85,000 feet. First
Mhm.
plane to fly over Mach 3. They wanted to hit 2,200 miles an hour at Mach 3.3. There wasn't a fuel that was available on this Earth that could operate at that height or at that speed. So the CIA contracted, trying to remember which one it was. It's in my notes here, but one of the oil companies to design a new SN7 fuel or whatever that would operate. It had never been made for anything else before. They made it specifically for that. But as they ran into these roadblocks where they couldn't get it to, they could get it to fly at 50,000 feet. When they got above 65,000 or 60,000 feet, it was so cold that it would gel up. So they didn't know how to pulling a crate on wheels with a set of blueprint. You know, going over these blueprints, and they're trying to wrap their head around what they're looking at. Where does this come from? Component one works with component two, works with component three. They just said scale model and system is how you're going to get the field delivered to work at that height, at that speed. And 16 inches, they started passing away. Finally, they got down to where there was one left, and he came forward to a guy whose last name is Graham, who was kind of the guy who wrote all the books on the SR-71, and said, "I'm going to disclose to you what happened." And he told them this whole story about how these guys brought this in. And in the end, this Graham asked him, "Do you believe you were given a system that was designed to make an aircraft operate that wasn't of this world?" And he said, the technology that was used in that system did not exist in this world. And he doesn't believe that the model they were given to reverse engineer came from a craft from a different world. It looked brand new, but there were components of metal that were on some of these elbows and different components on it that they heated up to 5,000 degrees and couldn't get it to melt. And platinum melts at like 3,200 degrees or something like that. You know, I mean, they were just stumped by this thing. And he said,
That'd be a cross from a metal and aluminum.
He said, I don't think it was used to operate a craft from a different world, because you'd have to find a world that has the exact same gravity as ours and everything else to need to make it work that way. But the technology that was used to design what was brought to us that day was technology from a different world. Somebody with the intellectual knowledge and capability created that thing, because nobody on Earth could have created it in 1961.
I've just
To
been
me,
reading
that's
about it.
fascinating. I mean, and if you can wrap your head around that happened, when we start talking about what could it be on our horizons, shit, dude, there's so much shit on our horizons that we don't have privy to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine.
It sounds fascinating, actually, Jeff. I was sort of reading up about it as you were talking. Yeah, amazing. And
They
they
probably
actually
already
talk
have
about.
X-ray vision seeing into our houses.
Well, you know what they have got.
Thermal.
They've got heat. Yeah, thermal. Yeah. Oh,
You know what they have
creepy.
got with that? They already can use AI to apparently read minds and things like that. And I know that sounds mental, but you can go and look that up.
creepy.
Like reading their facial expressions and eye movements and things, and actually generate images that are, represent something you've been thinking. So that's where we're going. We're talking about an AI god that's almost omnipresent, right? That has the power to know your thoughts. That's the world we're going to.
Well, that video that said that they could take somebody's voice and pretty much like paint a picture of them. You know, like they can tell you what they
Yes.
pretty much look like just by their voice.
That's right.
Creepy.
Me and Amy watched a fascinating video
So
separately, and we
great.
both
It's
separately
wild.
found this by chance. That all about the future of tech,
man.
like where we really are, and we're far more advanced than you'd think. Yeah, that's right. They've got images of famous people whose voices they fed to a neural network, and the AI was able to generate a face not dissimilar from the actual person. One of the people was Daniel Craig, I
Were
remember.
they famous? Or were they
Famous people. Daniel Craig was one of them, and it's quite amazing, actually. Yeah.
I think what's really cool is that all the things that we talk about with the mind, whether it's telepathy or whether it's, you know, all these different supernatural or paranormal things that we're trying to get answers to. What's really cool about it is that's really the only thing that the government can't hide from us. If you think about it, I mean, they might have a better understanding of it right now than we do, but we're not talking about an aircraft or a component or a technological piece that's in a bunker somewhere that nobody has access to except them. We're talking about the ability that possibly everybody has, and we just don't really understand how to access some of this stuff yet. Some people have figured it out, but even those that have don't really understand it fully, probably enough to make it to where everybody can figure it out. But there isn't anything here or in your head or in Amy's head that the government can hide from us.
Well, that's deep, Jeff, because it's like
That's
revealed knowledge, isn't it? You know, you
It's
can actually...
for us to figure out. It's not for us to claim they aren't letting us figure it out. We can figure it out anytime we get smart enough to figure it out and listen to each other. But
Well, I think this is the amazing thing with the internet is they sort of had to develop the internet and put it out there so that it could start to terraform towards the sort of fourth industrial revolution, as they call it, the sort of world they want. But there's a lot of leakage gone on because a lot of truth has sort of found its way to the people, and you know it's a sort of double-edged sword. And I think
as you carry on, I gotta move this inside. I don't think I'm getting a great signal. I'm seeing a lot of stuff in chat that people aren't, you know, they're getting bad signals.
We'll hold down the fort till you get back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kill this and my mic and.
Well, you bring up an interesting point, Hyde, because the creation of the internet, I mean, I'd like to think in a perfect world it was done so that we could get better at sharing information from each other. But really what it's done is it's amassed the ability to uncover the truth. You'd think that it should have made it easier to uncover the truth, and it hasn't, because you could say that grass is green, and I can find 5 different spots on the internet that'll say grass is purple. You know, I mean,
fact checkers. Yeah,
you know, there is stuff on the internet to contradict anything you want to try to lay a claim to based on something.
What,
on
like
the
women
internet.
have women parts and men have men parts?
Yeah,
know?
Men can get pregnant. Oh, we better not say that again. That might,
I know. I was
going to
say words, but I'm not going to say them.
Jammed, but agreed, Amy. Well, look, Jeff, you know, we had 10 years of a sort of renaissance, didn't we? Especially with YouTube, where really it lent towards the people finding out an awful lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
Never before has there been a time where we could share knowledge so quickly with one another. Amazing. But they've started to clamp down on that now, and Silicon Valley knew there would come a time where the thought police, they roll it out, and you can see it now in the independent fact checkers. By design, you've essentially got a sort of AI thought police. I can barely post any of the sort of memes that I post on Facebook now. Amy, right? You saw today there was one. You know, I got fact checked on.
Did it get taken down? Yeah.
Yeah, well, not on the one, but there was actually a false story. In fact, I'm normally good at that.
Oh yeah, you
sort
were
of
telling
stuff.
me about that. Yeah.
No, but there was another one where it was so insignificant what they checked. They said mainly false was the fact check or something, you know. So you know what that means is or partially false. It meant it was mainly true. That's it.
Was it the Pfizer?
False.
It said 12% of it works for a small amount of time or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
12% of the vaccines work for like a short period of time or something.
Well, I think what you're really alluding to, Hive, is that when it comes to technological communicative technology, let's just say, it's following the path that true science has followed. 100 years ago, if we wanted to figure something out, we followed the science of it. We looked at it. Man's curiosity drove where science went, because if we were curious about it, we'd stick at it till we found an answer. You want to get on the moon? Let's figure it out. You want to do whatever? Let's figure it out, right? And all of a sudden, science is driven by money. It's teams that are hired, paid to come up with a predetermined calculation that supports an agenda. And science doesn't think and move freely anymore. It's motivated by money and agendas and political weaponry.
And the term that a lot of people use is scientism for what describes a sort of dogmatic form of science where, like you say, a lot of the sort of funded, government-led most of the time, sorts of science that's put out there.
But we're seeing communicative technology follow that same path when it started. Like you said, for 10 years, it was like, holy shit, I can talk to this guy and learn from him and he can learn from me and we can share ideas. Now all of a sudden we're told you can't share that idea. You can't share that idea.
Well, we know it because, I mean, me and Amy, as you know, Amy's got a show, the AM show on her channel. We do broach a lot of the sort of alternative truth and the alternative news as it pertains to everything we've been experiencing for the last 2 years. We have to, if you broaching that sort of subject, get very clever with self-censorship, essentially. You have to develop a whole new language just to skirt the censorship, It
ain't easy.
I'm sorry, guys. What is driving this censorship,
Silicon Valley, and you got to ask who's heading up the agenda and what is the agenda. I mean, look at the World Economic Forum. Go no further than that. If you want to know.
Media?
The City of London. That's where you want to look.
Well, I mean, just a good example of that, a good testimony to that is if you were going to try to, I got to be careful how I say this, but if you were going to try to overthrow the man, so to speak, or your
Who's the man,
GOVT,
World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab,
your GOVT, what you the first thing you take out is the media. That's the first thing.
They're gonna take this one down.
You would knock down every tower, every journalist, you'd take everything, remove it out of the system. So
are you talking about war, Jeff? Here,
I'm talking about if you were actually going to take up arms to try to make change.
Right.
You're not going after the government. You're going after the communicative.
Well, Jeff's making the point. That's right.
Network of disinformation because the way they control you.
That's right.
Is by fear and
repetition and
propaganda.
They need
propaganda, repetition, and fear.
Yep.
If I'm going to control you, I need you to need me before I can control you, and so that's really how that's how any government works. Dependency.
Well, what that reminds me of, Jeff, is the fog of war, isn't it? And if you look at it like the idea that the establishment is essentially waged a war against freedom, actually, then or the people, then what we're seeing is a lot of this disinformation. This is the sort of thing that governments do when they go to war with a country, put a lot of disinformation out there, make it so confusing. It's the fog of war, so confusing that people can't make head or nor tail out of anything. And this is where we're at. You've got arguments fighting with one another. You've got so many different political factions and ideological conflicts or whatever. People just can't navigate the information properly. So this is by design.
Hey guys, let's change this subject.
All right.
I agree with Michael that Mogs has an awesome rod collection. I see it back there. How many rods do you have, dude?
Nick was commenting on his legs, and
I know. I was like, you have like 100 rods over there. Dude.
No, I was cleaning them up.
Mogs is the fucking man, bro.
Dude.
Mogs is the man.
Any of y'all ever tried a Ouija board?
I've been curious, actually.
When I was a kid.
When I was a kid.
That was it.
Yeah, I've been curious. Have you, Ben?
Yeah, I have.
How did that go?
Not good.
Go on.
Not good at all.
The fucked up thing is you were encouraged to use it, Ben.
Let me ask you, Ben, did you use like a newer style one, or did you have a real like vintage one?
Man, I don't have a clue, but my grandmother pushed me to use it. Pushed me and my brother and stuff to use it.
This was a while ago.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, I was a teenager, but I tell you what, it made me believe in demons for real.
Yeah. The people that I've talked to that have had the most incredible experiences using them are usually old boards, the wooden ones, not cardboard,
Well, it
really
was wooden. It was
like
wooden.
these newer ones that are like, layered paper, basically cardboard
No.
compressed that you
Yeah.
get from where Parker Brothers or whoever. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that they can't work, but boy, the people who seem to be in that circle that use them, it's really
Yeah.
about the age and the heritage of where that board came from,
Yeah, dude.
as
I
far as how
guess.
effective it is.
I think it's more intent. I mean, yeah, an older board might have more history and more, shit that is attached to it or it's gone through,
Or been
but
handmade and a
when it
lot of
comes
that
down to it,
put
it's
into
intent.
it.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, this thing. I mean, this thing was
In my opinion.
deceiving. It was lying. It'll tell you what you wanted to hear, and it was crafty, really
use it-
crafty.
Did you use it alone or with them?
No, with my brother and one of our friends.
I just never trusted anybody to not mess with me. Basically,
It's like falling asleep at a party.
I just like I
Yeah.
there's no way I was believing that thing was moving by itself. You could
No,
not
I mean,
convince me.
yeah.
And you have to have other people touch it. So it's like, come on now.
I understand, but when you ask it certain questions, it will tell you the answer.
Yeah.
Like certain
I've heard
things that
people.
only you know. It will tell you the answer. So
Well,
I
it's going to
don't
give you
understand.
an answer, whether it's the answer. I don't, you know what I mean?
An answer.
An answer, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It,
I
it
mean, a
will be
magic 8-ball will give you an answer.
That's
It
true.
has
no,
to.
no. So
If it feels
say,
like it.
okay,
Highly unlikely.
for instance, if I would ask, what's the middle name of this girl I dated 3 years ago, it will tell you that exact answer.
And then not saying, I'm not being the advocate, but to play devil's advocate, people will say that is a subliminal action of
How could that be subliminal?
Well,
Mine's
you're
true.
asking a question that you know the answer to.
Yeah. So say I don't even have my hands on a board, but I'm asking a question. But it's subliminal. Like I know the answer to it, but the people playing with the board, they don't. So I asked those questions, and
Right.
it did answer, and it got the answers right. So it actually it disguised itself as our grandfather that died. Yeah, and then there was a demonic following for real. One of my friends, I saw one of my friends get possessed, and then there was an incubus. I mean, a succubus situation. Really?
Yeah, I think Mogs was on to something when he was telling you that. I don't know that it's so much. If you look at a Ouija board as just being a vehicle, right?
Yeah,
A vehicle to use for a spirit that's there, whether that board's there or not.
yeah,
It's there in that room,
Spirit
Yep.
telephone.
present.
yeah. Really?
And whether or not you're using a magic 8-ball or a Ouija board or simply asking and open your mind up, or you have a medium that is better at doing that than you are, that spirit's going to use probably whatever vehicle it can use to give you an answer. Now, whether or not you're going to be tuned in to pick up that answer or even
Yeah.
capable of receiving and deciphering the answer, that's probably different for everybody. But I think a Ouija board is just simply one of those vehicles or tools that it could use. I don't know that it wouldn't use something else if that was available,
Yeah, bro, it scared the shit out of me, and I'm just not interested in ever seeing that shit again, ever. I saw a dude that I know really well, talking in different languages, and it was fluent.
Speaking in tongues, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And dude, we went around my dad's pond, and we were whispering to each other because we were scared. This dude, I mean, this was at least 75 yards. We were whispering, and this dude would answer every single thing. that we talked about.
Dude,
Yeah,
I mean, I've had a mad experience of my own. I'll just tell you real quick, like,
all
because
right, cool.
people say the idea of like aliens being interdimensional and stuff.
Yeah.
I know Amy knows this story, but very quickly, I stayed at a Buddhist commune or a Buddhist festival actually in a tent in a forest, and my granddad had just passed away. I was learning how to do a power ceremony, which is actually like a transference of consciousness of the deceased to a pure land. That's the concept. And profoundly, I got the empowerment to do that. My granddad died the next day. Very weird, but that's something else. Dude, so all sorts of weird stuff going on. But 2 nights afterwards, I was staying in a tent with my girlfriend at the time. I woke up in the middle of the night to these 3 grey aliens, what you'd know as a grey alien, starting to drag me out of the tent, dude, right? By my legs. And I was paralyzed, right? So it was essentially sort of like an encounter scenario. I then was able to kick myself awake out of the night terror, and everything was calm and normal. But I'm telling you though, dude, so everything was normal, so it was like a night terror, but these things were sinister. Like, these things were horrible, and it freaked me the hell out, man. Like, you know.
So it was like just a night terror.
Well, you know, in Buddhist cosmology, demons are real, you know, so I'm just saying, who knows? It felt to me like some mad interference.
That it happened.
Well, especially with everything that was going on, it felt like something was trying to, who knows, come through, mess around with things. You know, I can't explain it, but it's one of those experiences I've had that's just a big question mark over it. So I'm very open-minded to whatever that is.
How vividly did you see it? Like,
Perfect vision of 3 of them. Unzipping the tent, right? 3 of them standing there outside and starting to drag me out. And they would have been, although I didn't, you know, peering their faces in because they were taller than the tent, if you see what I mean, because it was sort of a 2-man tent. But so I could see them bending down, dragging me out, everything like that.
wow.
Just horrible experience, dude. But like I said, you could explain it away as being like a psychological effect, like a night terror or something. And I don't know, and I don't claim to know at all. But
have you ever had like sleep paralysis?
Yes, absolutely, brother. And actually, there's many tales, aren't there, of just grey type alien beings and all sorts of things happening. Yeah.
So you've seen those more than once?
No. Only I've had night terrors more than once, but only the sort of 3 grey aliens or type beings.
I don't really understand what exactly are night terrors.
Well, there's all sorts of theories out there, yeah, aren't there? They always seem to be terrifying. I don't
know if they're all driven from the same origin. No. You know what causes it, or what is the catalyst involved in it. But you know, I think one of the important things to also consider, Ben, is that, you know, not all spirits and not all of that is a demon or has a bad intention to it either. You know, I mean, it's very easy. Like when you talk about Ouija boards, it's like, whoa, you know, I don't want to have anything to do with that. I get that because you had an experience that wasn't a positive one. And I'm not saying people have lots of positive ones. I'm just saying that I've seen enough of people sharing their accounts, whether it's involving ET type stuff or spirits or whatever, that not everything has a nefarious background to it. A lot of it is.
So what do you make of it, bro? What do you make of it, Jeff? You think it's beneficial to us?
Well, let me ask you this.
All right.
If me and you were standing at the zoo, and there's a piece of glass between us and a grizzly bear or gorilla or whatever's on the other side, and the thing charges at us and bangs the glass, it might be something that I laugh at, like, holy shit, that was crazy, and you're in tears about. Right?
People handle things
I'm
differently.
just, maybe you wouldn't be, but I'm saying there are people that would be. Things affect people differently. So when somebody says, I had a negative experience with this, it may not have been a negative experience for somebody else who had that experience.
I think it probably would have been. You know, I, respectfully disagree about that.
Well, the problem is you're using only your experience as what I'm saying. You're not
Yeah,
understanding that
you're
I
right.
pick the setting, pick the experience. One person could be in that room and perceive it as a neutral to a positive experience. The other one could say it was a horrifying experience.
Dude, it was
Or
six
it
of us.
was
It was six of us, man.
But you're using your one experience as that you're applying my. Never mind.
Nah, I mean, I'm sorry if I'm exasperating you.
Well, you're laser focused on your experience.
You're right, because I
What I'm saying
have no
is
other perspective. You know what I
no,
mean?
I get that, and that your experience that you're referring to may have been negative for 100 people out of 100 people. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is not every spirit or not every thing that you could communicate that isn't flesh and blood is
Yeah.
going to react that way and create that scenario for everybody.
No, I
There's a
understand.
possibility that I could talk to a spirit or have an encounter with a spirit, and it affects me neutrally, and it may affect Hive in a very negative way. And there wasn't anything different. We could have both been standing next to each other at the same time. So
Has that ever happened to you?
I've never had an experience like that where I've had somebody else in the room to compare how they felt about it versus how I felt about it.
Okay, no, I'm asking you if, like, you by yourself have ever had that experience.
Yeah, I've had an experience with spirits before. I've shared here on Mogs about how when my grandmother was standing in a room in this bedroom that I'm using as my office now, singing to our newborn oldest son, and I'm hearing it over the baby monitor, and she died
You
5
audibly
days ago.
heard you heard the audible singing. Really?
Mm-hmm. And I walked into the room, and the mobile above the crib is sitting there moving.
Wow.
And I'm like, it just like you had just touched it.
Wow.
And I look in the crib, and he's, look, a 5-day-old baby. They're either asleep or they're pissed.
Yeah, you're right.
Usually they're either hungry or sleeping. Okay, it's
Yeah,
like
you're right.
his eyes pied, smiling at this mobile move, and I'm just like, what in the hell is going on in here?
Yeah, well,
And
okay.
it
Okay.
happened night after night till I finally had to sit down and just say, hey, look, I realized you want to be around him, and I don't want to rob you of that experience.
Yeah.
The audible singing out loud is freaking my wife out.
Yeah, man.
We were married, and this is a problem.
Yeah.
And never happened after that. No, I didn't want her to feel she wasn't welcome if her spirit's here or present in some way. I didn't claim to understand how she did it.
Completely understood, bro. Completely understood.
Just
I
saying,
understand
look, I
exactly
don't
what
want
you're
you to feel you have to leave, but if you start doing audible shit like that, it's not
Yeah.
easy for.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're all right. Wow.
And I think just communicating those kind of boundaries
Yeah.
was positive for me. Now, somebody else may have walked in the room that night and seen that mobile moving after and packed all their shit up and sold their house the next day.
Yeah. You're right, dude. You're right.
Well, that's like when I had an experience with in a paranormal situation where somebody freaked out about it, and like you said, I laughed about it. I knew what was going on. That person had no clue as to what was going on, and I had to explain it to them later. But yeah, people react differently to the same exact thing. This bartender, when it happened, she turned white, and I just started laughing. So.
Yeah, I can't say I've actually had a a truly paranormal experience like that. I mean, subtle things, but nothing, where I was just like, whoa,
I once had it where me and my best friend, he's still my best friend, Kieran.
Unfortunately,
we went to see Ray. I don't know why Flyby Stu just sort of jogged this memory because he said he thought everyone was zombies when he was tripping at a festival or something, and it was a mad experience. But I once had an experience where after a Radiohead gig. It's when they were doing the
Damn,
Kid A
radio
tour,
play.
actually. Kid A tour in the tent. Anyway, that's another story. But we got back to the sort of, I don't know what it was, like a bed and breakfast, and he was on one bed over there, and I was staying on this bed over here. We just talked for hours and hours and hours, and we kept cycling over the same sort of subjects. Paranormal would come up again and again, you know, on a cycle. And we had this one moment where both of us experienced exactly the same thing, where we zoomed into the middle of the room, met at the middle of the room, and then suddenly flew back to our positions. And we both sort of jumped up and said, "Did you just... what the..." And we both had this same experience where the room warped or something, you know? I don't know what that was again. It was corroborated by someone. It wasn't just a sort of glitch at one person.
I do have one.
Okay.
I do have one. I wouldn't like consider it paranormal because I thought it was more like a spiritual thing. So I think I probably told you the story. I was standing outside of this place I was staying. My roommate's two friends were outside, and my friends then too. Derek was here, I was here, and Chris was facing us with his back against the van. We had our backs against the house. We had the view of the sky that way. He had it that way. And out of nowhere, there was no clouds, there was nothing. There was the loudest bang where Chris was just like this, but Derek and I saw in the sky, it was like, you know, the old comic book, like PAL signs, where and with like red and white, like multiple pointed, like flashed in the sky, disappeared, and fucking Derek saw it. He saw that shit too. I actually drew it, and he was like, "That's exactly what it fucking was." And we were just
you saw like a comic book.
In the fucking sky, followed by nothing else. It wasn't near any power lines. Like it was pretty bizarre. Yeah, that
like
was
a shared, presumably narcotic-induced experience.
There was no narcotics involved.
I had to ask.
I swear, no
chemical
narcotics.
imbalance.
Weed.
Yeah.
Nope, just weed. I'm telling you.
What font was it?
But Chris heard it too.
What font was it? Pow.
I'm just kidding. It was POW font.
It was the POW
there was no
font, yeah.
font. There was no words to say POW. It was just the shape.
Right, no,
Just the
right.
shape.
Okay.
No, right, I'm wagging. Weird, really weird, like shared, weird out there experience
Yeah, man.
like that. I swear I've done mushrooms and had sort of shared experiences like that where you can affect each other's trip and sort of steer it. Yeah.
But there was none of that
All
going
sorts of
on.
things.
So it was pretty wild. And the fact that Chris heard that shit too. Didn't see it though.
Sonic boom.
How long was it in
Are they
How long
visible?
was it like visible?
Like gone.
How long was it visible?
That's I hear an echo.
In like a split second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't linger. It didn't linger. I know.
Damn.
If it did, I would have thought it was like fireworks or something, like some type of newfangled firework.
Just
It was
a
bizarre.
boom. And a time.
I was like, "Whoa, that's God!" Hands down, yo, that was God.
I was
Ben
pissed.
says the experiences I've
Yeah.
had have not been too scary. The only one that bothered me was at Mansfield Prison. You have to come on and tell us about it.
Yeah, really. Come on. Tell us about that.
Yeah.
We want to hear it. Everybody over here right now wants to hear it for real.
Yeah, man, this is ghost story hour,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Well,
Around
the
campfire.
old prisons are really a breeding
Yeah.
What?
ground for that kind of stuff, you know.
Well, what do you think of that? Like negative energy, places with sort of negative. I don't know what it even is. Like, I don't know. Do you think
The old state
there are-
penitentiary in Philly is like now a haunted attraction.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
you know what me and Amy were looking into the other day? Sigils, and the only reason we were doing that is because Science and Wonders had a show, and I was half thinking of jumping on it with him. And I was looking into sigils. He was talking about how the emoji, like secret
Said
sigils of
72
Solomon,
sigils,
72
emojis.
seals of Solomon. Mad theories out there that the emojis are
Yeah.
emojis are actually secret code for the sigil of Solomon. But anyway, it's a mad theory, dude. But I was looking into it anyway. I don't know if I believe it, but hey, and I had to look into sigils and sort of what the sort of what they're
What
about.
they
They're like
are.
magic symbols essentially. But the general idea is that the more you use a sigil, the more you charge them and things like this, the more power they get. Now, I don't know much about witchcraft or spelling or anything like that, except to say I think we spell with words, and I think I'm not good at spelling, no, darling. But anyway,
I'm loving Mid-South's comments about Amy in chat.
Oh yeah.
He says if she powed me, I'd see fireworks, bro.
I
Well,
don't see chat right now.
I'll tell you if I see fireworks in a couple of months when she visits me Mid-South.
Pow.
How about that? I'll tell you if I see. I'll tell you if she pals me. I'll send you a video Mid-South.
I don't pow and tell.
But anyway, the idea. So I was talking about like you don't what?
Pow and tell.
You don't power tell. Well, the idea that you could charge a location though, or a location could be charged with a sort of positive or negative energy. This is the sort of thing I'm talking about, because if you could do that in theory with a sigil, you know, a symbol or something, it could be with the B symbol like that, or the hexagonal sort of shape. Hello, Jen.
What's up, Jen?
How you doing?
Hey guys.
Long time.
Hey, Jan. How you doing?
All right,
So-
Ben. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that's possible, that you could sort of psychically charge?
You're kind of unlocking something.
Well, what they do with the
unknowingly?
emojis is they would put a
Maybe.
string of them together, each with the intention, right? And then
Right.
people would tweet it out and say, like to charge it, share to cast it, or something.
Like to charge it, share to catch
Yeah.
it. And in that case, like that's where you turn the emojis into
nobody
just a
turns me that
spell.
shit.
Right. And they had examples
Yeah.
on what each emoji possibly, the meaning it could hold.
So basically, the
Yeah.
emojis are zeros and ones, and we're
clicks and
building
whistles.
up.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
In that case, yes, when you use it as a spell, it's no different than using sort of words in a sense.
It's a
Or the-
formula.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, but there might be something in the meme, the visual, the idea of
Right.
a symbol.
And you can get sort of different
I think it would be-
intentions on different emojis. It doesn't
I
have to be
think
the
it
same.
would be derived from whoever is creating that that
Chain
linkage,
or string,
that chain,
string,
yeah,
yeah.
that whoever's creating that stripe of information. What's their intent? What's their mental
Well, in
place
that-
where they're at when they're doing it? And then
Yeah.
you could say the likes or the shares are really what amplifies what they were feeling when they
Amplification,
created
that's
it.
right.
Right.
But
Yeah, true.
In that
that's,
case-
that's a like.
Yeah, lesser magic or whatever. But I mean, I was more curious about just the general idea that, you spoke about prisons. That's why I brought it up. The idea that prisons could be charged, especially with a negative energy, that could create a doorway or something like that. That's where I was really going with it. It's just that sigil magic seems to back that up as a concept.
I've got a guest that I've been working on trying to get on my show, and I've spoke to him now for about a half an hour, and it's Rob Lowe.
I know that name, Jeff.
He's an actor from
Hey, it was good in Porch Recreation.
But anyways, he had a series called The Low Files. The Low Files, where he took his 17-year-old son, and they went on,
Rob Lowe.
jumped in his Ford Raptor, and went and looked at paranormal sites all over the U.S. And each site, they do an episode on it. So it was cool. It wasn't just the going to a haunted whatever. It was the relationship of road tripping with his teenage son, getting him involved in something that he was passionate about. But I asked him, I said, what was really the craziest experience you ever had? And it was a haunted prison. I believe it was in Idaho. And he said, when it comes down to the production of that show, I mean, everybody involved lost their freaking minds about how it affected them. Usually, most of the shows, there's one or two people get a little freaked out. This one, it's like nobody wanted to work the next morning. I thought that was kind of interesting because of all the places they've been.
Jen tells us a prison story, by the way, now. That's a good setup, Jen.
Yeah.
It's a good segue.
It is a good segue.
Well, I've done the haunted overnight thing there twice. And the second time, we're on the west cell block, about the third level, the west cell block. We've seen some shadow people moving around.
Really?
And like one of the bars that run up and down the length of the entire thing, where the railing is, I'm standing against that. So it's open space behind me and just the metal bar behind my back. And it freaked me out because it was like somebody was pushing on the back of my skull and on my spine and between my shoulders, and I could feel it. It was like electricity. Like something was trying to push its way in. Like you know. And the other experiences I've always had have never been anything that really was bothersome to me in any way. Like, you know, I was at work by myself and I was walking around a piece of machinery and it felt like somebody grabbed my forearm, and it grabbed me so hard it spun me around. And I expected somebody walked up on me. I don't know how. And about 10 minutes later, I got a phone call that my grandfather passed away.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I've had things like that my whole life, and those don't really bother me. Or like,
Right.
when I was
They're
in
neutral experiences.
when I've been in middle
But
school, like a
experiences.
friend of mine fell into in water, and he was in a coma for a few days. And like I woke up the one morning, and I said, "Cy died," and then we found out like later that day that he passed away.
Wow.
But it's the thing at the prison felt wrong. You know, that's the only word I could put on it, is that it was like.
That's how I felt with that night terror, Jen, I was talking about. Like, it felt like, well, I don't want to, I mean, I have to, it felt like a sort of form of molestation, if you know what I mean, like that. It was like it was trying to invade me. That, like,
No, I
you
mean,
know?
no.
Yeah, this was like yeah, it felt like, because I know there's nothing behind me. There's nothing behind me that's open space.
Right.
And whatever this was, it was like pushing on my spine and pushing on the back of my head and my neck and my
like
shoulders.
your energy points or something, yeah. It's like,
well,
it's weird.
they say that's when they're trying to jump into you or possess you or take you over. Those are the places where it tries to get in. It put, you know, they try to get into your spinal column or up in the back of your head.
Don't know. I just saw that. Sorry, late reaction.
But yeah, that's the only one that ever really bothered me.
Yeah, man.
Out of all the ones I've had, that one made me kind of go, you know, let's go to a different place for a while. Let's, you know, let's move along. But yeah, no.
Was it like an overnight stay there?
No, they do them there.
Like a tour?
You get there at 8 p.m. They do a walking tour of the prison, and they talk about, you know, Shawshank Redemption and all the movies that have been filmed there and the movie props that are still there. And then from 9:30 until 3 a.m., you just have free run of the entire prison.
Wow.
Wow.
You can just go wherever you want, do wherever you want.
Would you be willing to sleep on a cot there from midnight to 5 a.m. with nobody else in the building except for you?
Well, cot.
Yeah.
I'm just saying on a whatever in the middle of the place.
Yeah.
I think screw the tour guide stuff. I would just want to be in there alone all night. That would
Well, yeah, cool. You know, they limit the group that does this, they limit it to like 30 to 40 people.
I was just going to ask how
and
many.
There's 30 to 40 people in the entire prison, and after you do the walking tour, you and whoever you're with, you are on your own. Go. You can walk wherever you want. You can go wherever you want. You can go into the basement even. You can go everywhere. Wow. And there's been some interesting stuff that come out of there. There's a place up in the upstairs where they would keep the worst of the worst in these teeny tiny, like they were like the size of a closet. And they would keep them in these little spaces with a slot in the door, and that was it. Jeez. And I've seen people do like scrying up there and things like that. And
what is scrying?
Writing of some sort? Is it like
Divination. How do you?
Like a divination, or you can use
Yeah.
then use they would use a like water or bowl of water and use that, or the thing where the mirrors, like you look in mirrors and you call to whatever spirit you're asking for, and it comes into the mirror.
Wow.
Too scary.
Joey, it makes me think.
Too scary for me.
Like, I don't know why this talking about this sort of conjured this sort of thought, but do you think that maybe certain states of mind, such as fear, because I'm thinking of times that I've walked through the forest and I've had some sort of, strange experiences, but it's hard to explain. It's hard to know whether or not it was fear that was, my imagination running wild. But my point is that do you think that certain states of mind, that's where you're opening portals or doorways into some other realm? Because, the idea of spiritual protection, that if you're not in a fear state, that you can't be, you can't gain access to these other sorts of darker the underworld, I suppose, I guess. Perhaps that's the sort of common denominator here, in a way. I'm just sort of thinking of my night terror, Jen, and
Well, you compare it,
I don't know if it's so much fear, but
Right.
if you are open to the experiences, you can have experiences, but keeping your own protection, whatever that is for you, if that's your religion, if that's your wearing your cross, if that's whatever that is.
well, real protection, I
you
suppose,
should
is
always have that.
Well,
whatever
I was
I said
almost,
earlier about armoring up.
Yeah.
I think
Alex,
some of
whatever
it
you
comes
do.
down to that basic human nature of Hive. If we were hanging out for the day and you were feeling down and I was in a really good mood, maybe I could pull you up to my level, right? I mean, it's an infectious,
yeah.
and vice versa. If I was in a kind of blah mood, but you were really sad about something and I was talking to you about what it was, I might start feeling sad too, with you.
Resonance. Yeah.
With these emotions, we kind of feed off of each other's
Right.
emotions.
Oh yeah.
So
Right.
now let's imagine if you were a negative energy or a negative spirit,
Emotional vampires, like Mogs was talking about.
you walking
Talking about an
through
energy
being
vampire.
afraid,
Yeah.
what causes fear? When we don't feel like we're in control of a situation, unknown, uncomfortable situations will naturally invoke fear, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who's walking through not feeling that is carrying a little tiny bowl of candy, and somebody who's scared shitless is carrying a giant bowl of candy. And it's like you're a negative spirit. Where are you going here? And I think some of that is we see in our basic human nature, but it's easier to maybe then try to understand how let's say an ancestral spirit who isn't a negative energy is in a room because they want to connect with you somehow. Maybe you don't feel afraid of it, right? I mean, and it's not afraid of you. It feels like I can exist in this room at the moment. But a negative energy is trying to get your fear level up because that is its fuel or motivation to exist at that plane that it's at.
Right on,
Well, I
brother.
mean, with the thing that, whatever that was at the prison, I literally had to tell it, no, that's not okay. You cannot do that you cannot do that. And it backed off and we moved on. But you have to be able to command that space for yourself.
Well, my point was almost leaning towards the idea that perhaps the real protection is not being surmount.
You have to be aware. You have to be aware. That's your protection.
Well, what my point is that if you fear these things, it's almost that they may manifest to you. Whereas if you don't, because you have faith in some sort of higher protection or power or God or whatever it is, then they can't or they won't. This sort of idea, that's your real spiritual protection, is not
Like
feeling that you could be
shield.
molested by these sorts of things. Almost, it's sort of, there's a feedback loop going on. This sort of idea.
I've read a lot of times that these things feed off of fear, and
Well, right.
Well, and then
Yeah.
if you are carrying something with you that calms you down, then they have nothing to, feed off.
Exactly.
I
So even
also
if it
think
is,
that
yeah.
that protective armor, so to speak, that you wear is something that you could derive on your own, whether that's through faith or whether that's just through confidence. But I mean, I also think that it's something that somebody else could place upon you if they have the ability to.
Do you?
I believe that my sister did that with me. And I
Yeah.
shared that a little bit when I was talking to Jen last night,
Mhm.
that
Do what?
during my time over in Desert Storm and then afterwards as a security contractor in Jordan, I was on an EOD team. I mean, we were every day, multiple times a day, unwiring shit that was dangerous. And I
What you?
seen members of my squad. One of them got killed. Several of them got severely injured. And throughout the duration of this, it was like I felt like I was in the Matrix, like just dodging. Like nothing ever bad happened to me, right? I had friends that fell off a freaking
Yeah.
ledge and broke a leg. Other friends who got bit by a freaking
Right.
camel in the shoulder.
Start wondering, like, why me? Why am I still
Nothing
standing
ever
intact?
happened to me. And so when I was in Jordan as a security contractor, in the second year I was doing it, this person had introduced me to what they described as a seer. And I thought, well, I'm intrigued, right? And then this person said, what do you have that you want to ask me? I said, how come I've seen so many of my friends and so many of my squad members get hurt? Some of them even lost their lives, and nothing ever happens to me. I mean, I'm appreciative that nothing happens to me. There's got to be a reason, right? And he said, well, it's because and he specifically said, your sister placed a protective spell upon you. And I was like, what? But I know for a fact when we were growing up, I seen my niece when she was 5 years old. This was after I got back from the military. My niece was dancing around our campfire one night, and she always did this. And I'm like, why are you dancing? She says, because he's watching me. And I said, who? And she pointed at the fire. And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? I'm looking at my sister like, what is going on here? And my sister just looked like she was embarrassed. Like, not that she was confused, but like she was embarrassed. And I started talking to her more and more, and I started realizing that
What was it?
my sister has apparently lived most of her life with the ability to place protective spells and whatnot. Probably an array of things that I'm not even capable of understanding. And evidently, her daughter has inherited this. Now, I don't like using the word witch, because we grew up in a Christian church. But that whole being connected to that ability to do stuff like that, like manifest positive energy, manifest negative energy.
You believe that words can really, like a string of words can really influence somebody else's life, right?
They do all the time.
With the right intention or the
They're
wrong
called
intention.
thoughts.
I think a lot of it is intention based.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the word is we live primarily in a world of the labeled and named. I mean, everything we do is words, whether it's in the form of thoughts, conversation. I absolutely believe in spelling is essentially what we do when we speak. I absolutely believe we're creating realities.
Wow.
And depending on the vibration of the person, talking, it can affect the mood. Absolutely believe in that.
No shit.
No shit.
I
just did it.
Really...
I don't know if you noticed.
And some people are really susceptible of being manipulated by that. And manipulation is a bad word, but I mean, they're just susceptible to receiving those things. I could have walked into a room any day I wanted to with my mom and looked at her and said, you don't look very well. You look kind of pale. Do you feel all right? And she could have felt great. I'll guarantee you, after I say that, in 15 minutes, she's laying on the couch thinking she has a fever. I mean, some people are.
This is the idea of people that gaslight people like that. The emotional vampire or would do that. Narcissist, psychopaths, or whatever. Absolutely are a burden, and they will amplify sort of your own negative
suggestive stuff.
Well, yeah, because it's not that we don't have our own an array of possible thoughts that we have generated at any one moment to do with any situation, but someone could, like you said before, Jeff, amplify the negative side of that, and absolutely make your life, worse for it, I'd imagine.
So, Jeff, do you think more people are there any certain people that are more susceptible to that, or
susceptible of like being manipulated,
of being victimized by people that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that there are people who look for opportunities to play the role of the victim anytime they can. I mean, that's just the way.
Codependent relationships are like that. Exactly,
yeah,
Jeff. Yeah,
somebody who,
that's right.
You know, our life experience brings us all to where we're at. I'm at 50.
You're right.
And somebody might say, well, you're stubborn when it comes to this, or you're very compassionate when it comes to that. It's not that I was born that way. It's that life experiences have made me that way.
Absolutely.
In most cases. Now, you take somebody who's been victimized, truly victimized, or just a product of a bad environment, so to speak, and they come up and get older and they can't break that cycle. They go to work and they realize somebody got a promotion instead of them. Well, they're the victim. They don't see that person may have been better qualified or was there longer. It just starts becoming a way of life for them.
Now you're talking about the field of a curse there, Jeff, aren't you? Where a negative spell has become a curse, essentially, yeah. You see it all the time.
Or somebody feels like God is punishing them. And until people can stop like seeing God as a punisher, then I think, that's kind of where that comes from. People
that's a good point,
actually. I'm being punished. It's God,
But Wagon, I mean, do you believe in curses at all? You think that it's possible that someone can be cursed?
Well, if somebody can send a spell of protection, why couldn't they, be the opposite?
You're right. Send something negative. Yeah, you're right, man. You're right.
I think that there are people who are gifted at different things that they're capable of, whether it's intuitive tuning into understanding how somebody feels or something they're experiencing without verbally communicating it, whether it's a medium or a psychic who sits on a park bench and a guy walks by with his daughter and you realize that he beat the shit out of her the day before and it's like tearing you apart and yet you don't say anything. I mean, there are people who are tuned into this stuff. And like I say, I don't claim to know how, or why. I'm not here to discuss it. I'm just saying I know that there are people who are capable of doing that. What makes them capable of doing that and somebody else not? I think both of them probably have the ability to. It's just one's tuned into it and the other one isn't.
Yeah, and I don't know if I believe in actual curses myself.
But I do believe that when it comes to actually projecting or manipulating bad energies, I believe that's a real thing. So in other words, if I'm really angry at Mogs about something and I'm not even in the same room, I'm just looking at it and I say, you know what? And I have that ability to bring that about. I may audibly be sitting here, not even realize I'm doing it and being like, God damn it, Mogs, I just wish you'd freaking whatever, like thinking that heavy negative energy towards them and project something to manifest in that room.
What do you think most arguments are?
Like I didn't even, it's not like I'm sitting there going, I want this to appear in that room and do this to Mogs. I'm not doing that. But in the midst of that animosity, I may manifest a negative spirit physically around him at that moment.
So you think that it's like if you trying to curse somebody, you can manifest a negative spirit to malign them?
Well, Ben, great question.
Possible.
And well, I was going to say Suzanne had a great answer, and I know Mogs showed it on the screen. She said, I think you can only be cursed if you believe you can. I think that's really deep.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's deep because what's really being preyed upon, our realities are what we are generating. We're very much more involved in the sort of flavor of reality that than we think.
So you're talking about quantum physics, right?
Well, I'm not. I don't actually subscribe to quantum physics, but for particular reasons. But that's not to say that the science of the ether couldn't be something similar in certain regards, brother. But maybe that's a different point.
Well,
But yeah, absolutely, we're all connected. We're all vibrational.
I think you're only as, when it comes to curse, you're only as safe as the armor you wear, and that armor can be derived of a lot of different things. I mean, it may be sage and being smudged and all that.
Well, if you believe sage,
it's got
right.
It all comes down to belief.
It does all come down to belief, Muggs.
Like I say, or it could be a part of your faith. If you're a Christian and you believe in your Christian faith, a lot of Christians don't even get tuned in and understand what the Holy Spirit is, the power of the Holy Spirit. If you're a Christian and you subscribe to that, the power of the Holy Spirit is there for you to use. That's why God placed it there. So if there's somebody sick and I'm sitting here saying, oh God, I really pray that they get better, I have the ability to say, I command the power of the Holy Spirit to heal this person.
I think that might be right, Jeff. And I think
people don't get that. I don't care what your religion is. Everybody has that component.
Well, let's put it this way.
If they believe it and they're tuned into
right.
it, you'd have a pretty damn hard time placing a curse on that.
Well, brother, we don't know what our abilities really are. And obviously the story of Jesus sort of seems to lay out some, if you believe that, you don't have to, a character that was able to conduct supernatural, miracles, basically. We don't know. Look how limiting the sorts of structure of belief that are imposed upon us by schools, our culture. Because I say society is a cult. It is absolutely a cult. You take on certain beliefs, limiting beliefs, actually. And so, yes, it is all about belief. And we're talking about everything up from the quality of the experience that you're having, how happy you are at any moment in time, how supernatural powers that you can gain access to as well. I absolutely do believe that. I do.
Right. Meditation's a good way to tune into that, for sure.
Right on. Yeah, I agree with that, Wagon.
I think it's easier to wrap your head around the idea that it's not that there's some people that are so protected they're not able to be permeated by a curse. It's just that there are some people that are so unprotected, that are so naive to it, that they're easy prey. And if a spirit has the ability to discern which one's which, they don't go for the toughest, they go for the weakest, right? So
well, right on, yeah. I mean, people create hells for themselves. I've created a hell for myself in my life. I'm sure we all have here.
Sure.
And in fact, I actually think that it's a rite of passage. You have to have gone through hell to get to,
That's a song. You have to go to hell before you get to heaven.
Oh, Jeff, you can sing.
Old jet airliner.
Yeah.
That's a nice singing. Actually, that reminds me of, you can actually sing, Jeff. That reminds me of Mogs singing that time, Mogs? I enjoyed that.
Oh, right.
The time you sang, do you remember that?
Mogs sang jet airliner.
You sang a couple times on here.
Yeah? I've never heard that.
Oh, I heard one of them.
Mogs
has got a voice. Mogs has got a voice.
Yeah, I bet he does.
No,
yeah, well, music there again.
They're somewhere back there in some old episode.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Mogs, man, thank you for having me on and this discussion. It was a great discussion.
It's been a good one.
It has been a good one.
And it's an honor to be part of it, actually, Mose. I wanted to ask Mose very quickly, doing a new show called Babblebox. Ask Stevie, actually. If you want to come on for 10 minutes, mate, it's a limited conversation where I've got a graphic of an exploding phone booth, and you get 10 minutes to talk about whatever you want. Every other Saturday on my channel. If you want to come on, Mogs, it would be an honor to speak to.
Right on.
All right.
You have my my email or whatever, or I'll have to subscribe
I'll
to
get it. All right, I'll get it. Nice one, brother. Awesome.
And I think the most awesome part of tonight's show is that we talked about all these different things that maybe aren't typically things that we talk about on this show, but nobody claimed to have a right answer.
No, it was very much a group effort. Yeah.
It really in a conversation derived around the possibility or is
theorizing
about possible explanation.
Right.
It's not somebody saying, well, this is the way it is and this is the way that it isn't.
You're right about that, bro. You are right.
It was a great conversation. Hey, I've enjoyed it. Truly.
Yeah, me too,
Yeah, me
man.
too.
Me
man.
too.
My
Right
sister
on.
Kim just realized I wasn't at her house. I just got a text. Hey, where are you? No, it was a very good a good show. God willing, they leave it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who
Right on.
knows what boundaries we crossed,
Oh,
right?
dude.
I
tried really hard.
I don't think we really
Yeah.
crossed any. You know, we came to a
Yeah.
point that maybe we were about to, but I don't think we crossed any.
Yeah, well, me and Wagner got good, like I said, at steering around these things. We didn't say any words or anything that we haven't said on
Yeah.
our
Yeah, I
shows a
said a
million
lot
times. So
less than I would have said
Right.
on
yeah, so it
Yeah.
should be
the channel.
all right.
It was good. Yeah.
I saw somebody respond to somebody. Is Farm in here?
We
Farmers
used all
Please Network?
we spoke in Wagonese tonight, so
Is that the new language? Yeah,
yeah,
the new,
Hey, I'm
the
gonna
new.
throw something out here. Which one of y'all thinks that it's not possible that Bigfoot is an alien?
Well, I don't ever say anything's
not.
not possible. I know that.
No.
So
Yeah, I
yeah, I
can't
don't
say
ever
that.
say nothing's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Cool.
yeah.
No
I'm not sure.
problem.
I've
can't rule it
debated.
out.
I've debated Michael a million times about Bigfoot. My general take on it is that the burden is with the Bigfoot community to show the goods, get the evidence. Until that happens, I'm going to stay very much on the fence about it. That's just where I'm at. Yeah.
Understood.
There's a lot I
Understood.
need more evidence on for a lot of things.
Well,
So think about
not
it.
be on the
That
fence.
is the
Aliens.
reason why there's no evidence, because they get beamed up. I don't know.
yeah, who knows, brother? Hey, there's so many different explanations for it. It could be a psychological effect of. It could be. I mean, people need to open their mind up to the possibility that it's a psychological effect of people wanting to leave. I know people don't want to hear me say that, but that's a possibility. You at least got to float it, because people's imaginations can run away with them.
Yeah.
But not to stick on that. The other possibilities such as like Flyby Stu was saying, interdimensional beings. If you get into that fear state and you have a bad experience, and it's absolutely possible that something like this sort of stuff we've been talking about could also be an explanation for it. I don't know. I really don't know.
I think it's we get so conditioned to think of, is Bigfoot real or not, or is it flesh and blood or something
It's
else?
real. I've heard it.
Take Bigfoot out of that example, and
All
you
right.
fill it in with anything else you want to.
Snakes.
Like
Or snakes,
Mothman.
really?
You guys mentioned Mothman earlier, things like that, right?
Not snakes.
I'm going to tell you right now, if Mothman or any of these other cryptids are real, almost all of them, my theory would be that there'd have to be some supernatural capability for them to be real. Whether it's how they manifest or disappear,
Yeah.
how they move, where are they 24 hours a day, or are they just somewhere for 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I think the most plausible explanation for all of those would have to be that there is some supernatural ability. It's not a flesh and blood being. So now let's go back and stick Bigfoot back in. And I say, well, my research shows that I'm chasing a flesh and blood being, because I haven't seen any research that shows me that I'm not yet, right? I haven't seen one walk through a portal, okay? But if I feel that way about all the other ones, how the hell could I not say that it could be possible with that one too, right?
You never know.
To follow that up, Jeff, here's a novel thought that not everyone's going to be on board with, but what's the footage from the 60s called? 'Cause I'm no expert with the Bigfoot. The Patterson, Gimlin, that's it. What if the Patterson and Gimlin was faked? Hang on, was faked, and that everything else people are seeing is of a supernatural sort of thing, but actually they're being misled with remembering it in a way that fits in with what they expect Bigfoot to be, if you see what I'm saying. Yeah. Possible. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying.
I think the problem is
watch it again, so it's not going to be a false remembrance thing. So you can actually watch it again.
Well, in that case, you can watch it again. But I'm saying if what we're seeing in that video looks very much like a flesh and blood creature, is what my point. So,
Yeah.
But that's because you don't see it walk through a portal 30 seconds before the film started rolling, too. I mean,
Right.
possible,
like I
Jeff,
say,
as well.
everybody
Also
in our
possible.
community speaks matter of factly about things, and the problem
And
is we don't
nobody
have
knows.
any
Right.
facts. We
Who's
don't
to say
have
you're
any
even going to see
facts.
the portal? What if
So
they do
when
just
people
appear?
say, I see that and I believe it's a flesh and blood creature, that's a fair statement because that's
Yeah.
what I believe. That's
Yeah,
your theory.
it is. It
And
is.
when I develop a theory and research, I have to work to disprove it with the same tenacity that I approach trying to prove it with.
You're
Yeah.
right.
That's the only way we can fairly advance the science. So, but when people in our community talk matter of factly and say, "I seen the film, that is a flesh and blood creature," I don't think that's fair to the community
No,
because I don't know how you can say that as a fact.
you can't.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, if we're
whoever
being
can.
fair, I don't know how you could do that.
Well, there's a whole other side to this that I take. Like, I've got a primary interest in what is experience per se. You know, where are we? What is the world? What is experience? I think, honestly, that it's hard to actually pin anything down when you start to look at the fundamentals.
Yeah.
You can't even prove your own existence. If you get into the sort of Plato arguments and stuff, it's actually hard to find yourself. So bring that into the mix as well, and really the sort of world we exist in is not nearly as solid as people think. So I think you have to factor that sort of thing in as well. Just a little point that I wanted to make.
So we are all on Moog's show having conjecture and conversations about it. Nobody's ever said tonight that they are, an expert or anything. And I think that the people that say they are an expert are grifters.
Yeah,
I
grifters, bro. Yeah, right on.
Yeah. I think that, nobody knows about it, really. And we are all grasping at straws to, really, comprehend what's going on.
Right.
We don't.
I think
We're not
the
informed.
ultimate
Not experts in
form
our
of
own
Now
lives.
recently that they claim to be experts. What the hell was it?
I think the ultimate form of narcissism is to say that you're an expert on something in which there is a subject that is completely almost completely void of facts. I
Right.
mean,
Nah,
Yeah.
fucking
it's like people who stand outside and stare at the stars in the sky and say, "I believe that I'm a part of a species that's the only intelligent life force that can come up with this technology anywhere,
an arrogance,
despite of how big
Yeah.
that is out there."
That is
Right?
arrogance.
I mean, how
and
narcissistic would you have to
Yeah.
be to not say, "Well, maybe it's possible I'm not," right? I mean, I'm not saying you
Well,
have to say it.
open-mindedness is not being 100% about anything, and it's very
No.
hard to even in science to be 100% about. And in fact, you're not looking for 100%. You're looking
Right.
for an experiment that you can recreate.
Right.
Yes, you are.
Right. So it's not about being 100% about anything. That's why sometimes I ask someone if they've had a paranormal experience, what percentage certain are you that was the particular thing you're claiming it is? Now, when I have an experience, you've heard what I said. I don't know. I have to arrive at I don't know what it was. But I think as soon as you get into what do you call it, like someone's account where they're convinced it's one thing or the other, I think that's where
But Havlis, where's the control?
Say that again,
Tell me
brother.
that. Where's the control, bro?
In what sense, brother?
In what sense? So, okay, so scientifically to compare something to
Oh,
something
the
else.
control.
control, right.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
control.
Yeah, I hear you. Exactly right. Yeah, it's hard with eyewitness statements of things to have a control in that sense, obviously.
Well, to give
yeah.
you an example of the open-mindedness that even as somebody who's trying to research and prove something to exist to the rest of the world, I mean, despite my encounter, I can tell you that what stood in front of me appeared to be flesh and blood, and it's not like I saw it for 2 seconds and it was over. I was very close to it. But the thing is is I can't tell you that thing 1 minute before me seeing it was physically
Manifest.
in that area, or 30 minutes before. So,
Right.
I mean, I have to be open-minded enough to say, even though I swear this thing's flesh and blood, Was it there an hour before I was there? I don't know.
Well, you also have to be open-minded that the men in black came down, gave you a false memory of something, and you don't recall it. Because if we're truly open-minded about what sort of things we're experiencing, it could be all sorts of explanations.
Absolutely.
So being open-minded truly is
and the
is
things that we can recall, this was interesting, is when Jen was on the show last night, she was saying that the human brain operates, not that it's capable of doing, but it does operate at like 600 billion whatever per second,
crazy,
you know.
But
it was
use
huge.
like 2,000.
And that we only
Synapses.
use like 2,000 per second is our
But,
recollection and whatnot. And you know what it made me think of is the night before last, I watched a movie, and it's on HBO right now. It's called Limitless with Bradley Cooper.
Limitless is brilliant. Yeah, I love that film, bro. It's one of my favorite films.
And it's like it opened everything, and he started recalling everything. And it's not like that was the craziest movie, because you watch it and you say, this isn't impossible. This isn't like science.
No, you don't
fiction.
feel it's impossible, do you? And
It's
that's
like
why
this could actually happen, man.
I tell you what, Jeff, I think that the extent to which we tap into our true potential are our limiting beliefs. That is what I'd say on that.
That's which brings me back to what I said about, the one thing that we have full access to is all of these capabilities that we talk about. Is it real or not, or who has it, or to what degree, and where does it come from, and what are the limits of it? The government can't control any of that.
No, this is why when people talk about a great awakening,
the parameters of limiting our ability to understand it.
Well, this
How
is why.
far can we get those to expand enough to get it figured out?
Well, this is what the cult of society, the idea that there are limiting beliefs sewn in to the sort of dogmatic cultural things that ideas that propagate through our culture. Well, through our culture, the idea that we are being controlled in that way. I do think so. I mean, I know everyone here that if you've had enlightening experiences or grown, I've unlocked parts of myself or aspects of myself or abilities that weren't there years and years ago. I do believe they may have been there when I was a kid, but they got stifled.
Yeah.
And then I've been able to sort of get them back or something, and some people never do. But yeah, fascinating stuff though.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
probably
right on.
We're at almost 2.5 hours. I am going to shut this down here in a minute, but this was an amazing conversation tonight. You guys were all awesome.
Right on.
This was really good. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for letting us, bro.
Oh,
really?
That's what I'm here for, dude. That's what this is about. This show's for you guys. It's not, that's why I shut up half the time.
Right.
Right on. Well, nice to see you all. I'm going to jump, but nice to see you, Jen. It's been a while. Mogs, too long, brother. Ben, really nice to talk with you. Right on, Jeff and Amy. I'll see you very soon. Love you all. See you, chat.
Cheers.
In a bit. Bye.
Yeah, you guys have a good rest of your week. It was nice seeing you again, Amy and Ben and Jen and, of course, Mogs.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. And again, good job last night. That was a great show. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. Pylon Research with Jen Krause was the guest. Awesome.
She was a great guest just because once I got her pointed on a subject, I could just stop.
Shut up.
And she would just go.
No.
That's hard for me to do, but it was really
impressed.
easy with her. I mean, and once she started talking, I was just like, I was just enthralled by what she talked about,
Yeah, no, that was a good show.
Well, yeah, it's been fun, guys. I have a show tomorrow morning, as always, on Monday and Wednesday at 11:30. So if y'all want to check it out,
check Wagon out tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
See you.
Thank you so much, Wagon.
Have a good night.
Good to see you, Wagon.
Bye. Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Bye, Jeff.
We'll see you guys later. I'm going to pop off too.
All right, Jeff. Well, that was quick.
Well, thanks for having me up, Mogs.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for telling us that prison story.
Yep, no problem. Have a good night.
Good night. All right, Ben. Back to you and me.
Man, stimulating, very good conversation tonight, for real.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And, thanks for having all those questions. You always seem to pull them out of thin air.
I'm very curious about things, you know.
No, it's a good way to be.
I want to know what other people think about stuff, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
All right, my brother. Have a
Talk
good
to
night.
you soon. Thanks.
All right.
Good night. All right. What did I just push? Well, guys, excuse me. Thank you all, everybody that popped on tonight. And, you know, that was really, really a good show. I really enjoyed that. Hopefully we can do it again on Thursday. If you guys enjoyed the show, please hit that like button below. Also, if you're new, subscribe and be sure to hit that notification button so you know that we're, you know, whenever we're coming live, you know, you can check us out. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, the link will be in the PayPal. The link for PayPal will be in the description below. Every little bit helps, especially now. Just struggling. Anyway, guys, thanks again. Again, prayers to everybody in Texas, guys, with this weather that's going on out there. Please be safe, because I want to see you here on Thursday. All right? All right, guys. Peace and God bless.